Hello, everyone. It's been a minute, but welcome. This is Catch the Fuck Up. I am Fern.
And I'm Nicole.
And this week we are looking at chapter 351, the title of which is Two Flash Fires.
It's not concerning at all.
Yeah. The meaning behind the title this time is pretty obvious.
Yep. So shall we just dive right in as we continue the Shoto Toya fight?
Yes, let's go for it.
All right. So from last time, we got Dabi's terrible backstory. And this chapter, they are continuing their fight as opposed to jumping to another fight. So we stay with them again.
At least there's that. We didn't get left on another cliffhanger. Well, we did, but
we did, but we got a little more progress.
A little bit more.
Yep. All right. So it starts with a little bit of backstory on fucking Endeavor and his ultimate move where he raises his heat and there's lots of fire and blah, 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 blah. And so from that ultimate move, basically, Shoto and Toya / Dabi basically aimed for the same thing for their own ultimate move. And the move is called Flash Fire. And so they are planning
Flash Fire Fist.
Yep. So they're going to use it against each other because
they're both Endeavor's kids.
Yep.
So
and it is metaphorical and once again terrible strategy, but it hurts me right in the feels. So just as we go through the chapter, we're right back to where Dabi is preparing his move. He's building up the heat, building up his fire. He's melting the All Might statue, which was rude.
Yeah, he is that hot and his body it hardly exists. He's basically a torso with fire limbs.
Yep. And it's all burned. I don't think there's any unscarred flesh left on him because he's just, as he's building up his flash fire, he's burning himself up too, which we discussed last time because he's kamikaze
metaphors
for lack of a better term.
Oh man.
And as they're both preparing their little fight, it takes a while to build up the heat. And they're just basically kind of showing the differences between the two. Dabi is faster at building up the heat because he doesn't have his pain receptors anymore, unlike Shoto. And Shoto, because he is more balanced, is then inherently slower. So not good.
Yeah,
not good there.
Toya has absolutely no concern for his own life at this point. So he can take as many risks as he wants.
Yep. And so basically as Toya is preparing this ultimate move, he moves on from his father hatred to the fact that he also has feelings about his little brother and how he has quote unquote lived his life up to this point, even though Shoto is literally a child. The disconnect in this man's brain, honey, sweetie. Okay, you poor thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes on. He at one point he says the pain numbing that he experienced after his coma allows him to surpass his limits. So we have this instance of once again inverting that trope, and it's inverting a trope that really Horikoshi kind of made his own, and now he's inverting it once again to show that it is actually also a negative thing when we are way too focused and don't take ourselves into consideration. We're just going straight for our own mission, whereas we at the expense of your body and your soul and your sanity. And it's just
yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. A little called out, Horikoshi.
Yeah, a little called out, little vindicated, because that's also what we've been thinking was Dabi's whole thing. He's I'm going to surpass my limits, but I'm going to do it murdery.
Yeah. I also love that Horikoshi, he inverts this trope a lot, but he does it slightly differently every time. So there's always just that little extra bit of nuance, and he's just creating all these layers.
Yep. And it's unique for each character. It's not just the same thing for each character. It's great.
Yes, absolutely.
It's also very painful.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so let's see. So after he mentions that without pain, he can surpass the limits of his father and his own body, Dobby does his ultimate move, and his move is Flash Fire Fist Hell Spider, which
Yep.
is a fucking awesome name. And
it is. It really is. It's such a cool move. I was sitting there and I was like, damn, that's amazing. And I really wish the context were different.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an amazing move. Essentially, what he's done is taken that super hot fire and heat and just whipped it up into like a storm of fire with all these different streams of it going everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's awesome. There's a moment where you see all the other heroes that are like there in the fight to support Shoto, dodging it. And this
they're like blasted back by the sheer force of it.
Yep. It does look like it's actually hurting the Nomu. So that's further confirmation that Dobby just doesn't care. He's going to hurt anything in his way to get to his brother. And if you zoom in, you can kind of see the details of these heroes. One of them is Ida. So Ida is there with
Poor
Shoto.
Baby.
Yep. Like we knew he was there, but he hadn't been on screen for a while, as it were. But I do have to take just a second to zoom in on this page, because if you zoom in on the Hell Spider panel on the left-hand side where Shoto is once again just being yeeted through the air, next to him is a dude that has a costume that makes him look like Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist. And I don't know. I don't even know if I'm mad about it, but I'm just like, excuse me, sir, that you're in the wrong property. Anyway. And I don't even know if it was purposeful or if it's just because it looks like him because it's like a low quality because it's so far away. Anyway, me with my crowd shots. It's fine.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who even knows? All right. So with this move now unleashed and like storming fire throughout Camino, you have the heroes like noticing that this is like Endeavor's move, but like altered. So that's fun.
Ida calls it haphazard, which good word.
Yeah. Ida finally gets dialogue and is there for a minute. And he flashes
I thought we were going to get like a Toto Ida moment. We did not. But
no, we did not. We just had Ida flashback to their conversation in Shoto's room. And he's like, oh shit, feelings. But yeah, they don't even say anything. And then on that same panel, you have Endeavor's sidekicks essentially trying to control the fire so that Shoto can continue to build up his own heat for his own move.
Yeah, he's in like the very back of the panel, like just whipping it up in his hands.
Yeah, but also they did not do it very well, because amidst all these streams of fire, Dobby yeets himself to behind Shoto where there is nobody like watching or guarding his back. And he like he was so fast, like they couldn't really account for it. And it was really just a smoke screen so he could get behind Shoto so that he could then punch him in the fucking face.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. And the fight is really on now.
Yep. The first hit has landed. Doesn't look great, looks nice and painful. He gets Shoto right on his left side, like his cheekbone right under the scar. So that's symbolic and shit. And as he lands this punch, he's now like once again mocking Shoto about how he's like the son of the hero, but the brother of the villain, as he's like, as Dobby sees it, like doing nothing on his own at UA. He's just like, you must have been so miserable, you stupid little puppet boy. I was just like,
basically like every horrible thing that Endeavor has ever said to Shoto and possibly also Toya, although we don't get as many conversations with them, so I can't exactly confirm. Like basically Toya is just spewing all of that at Shoto once again. This poor child.
Yeah. And I mean,
shit.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you go and then I'll go.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say that we can assume that it is the same things he said to Toya, because he only quote unquote and gag made Shoto because Toya was a failed experiment. So we can assume that in the years before Shoto was born, when he was training Toya, he was saying the same things that he ultimately then said to Shoto. So he's just turning around all that abuse back on his brother.
Probably. Yeah. Abusers tend to have patterns and they don't tend to deviate. So yeah. But anyway, I just had a thought. So you mentioned that Toya hit Shoto right under his scar. And it kind of reminded me that Toya is Endeavor's son, but he's also his mom's son. And she definitely has, certain mental illnesses where she can't see beyond what's hurting her. And so everything else starts to look like what's hurting her. And it was just very reminiscent of that moment.
Yep.
I was like, oof.
Yep. So many layers. And they all hurt. You've
inherited like a double whammy from both parents, basically.
Yep. That hurts on so many levels. Why would you do this to me?
I'm sorry. It isn't me. It's Horikoshi. He's doing it to us.
Yeah, he is. And he knows exactly what he's doing. And just how very dear. My heart is just. Okay. So as Shoto is just careening backward from the fire-powered punch to his face, Toya continues his tirade and as his own hatred towards Shoto as his replacement, but also the object of his father's love that he never had. All those things. It's just coming forward, and he's just screaming all the hatred at Shoto that he can see. And the only thing that he can see is that his brother is like a half-baked puppet, he does nothing on his own, whereas Dabi sees himself as doing everything on his own against his father.
And he sees himself as in the right. He sees his independence as a positive.
Yeah, exactly. And also there's a line where Dabi says, "You'll never make a damn thing of yourself." And now looking back at that, it hurts, yes, but I also wonder if he's yelling that at Shoto, partly because he does consider him his father's good little puppet, but also partly because he's actually yelling at himself.
Oh, yeah, he's absolutely yelling all of these things at himself, and Shoto is just his little avatar.
Yep. And it hurts all over again. I didn't pick that up the first time I read through because I speed read because I need to know what's happening. But yeah, looking at it now, he's definitely also yelling at himself. So
yeah, things also definitely we read before we record and then we read during when we're recording, and we do that because there's just things that you just can't catch the first time.
Yep. And it hurts all over again. So we start recording in pain, and then we just continue more pain as we record. So listeners, I hope our pain is worth it to you. All right.
Let's commiserate.
Yeah, we have to. So with this last blow, he punches Shoto so hard he zooms off into another building where he crashes into it. And it's almost like it might have been a killing blow, or at least Dabi had hoped it would be. But turns out, actually kind of back in the sports festival, because in our regular recordings, we're on that arc, how Ida was dragging him around and he didn't show he was actually doing anything. Even while Dabi is punching the ever-loving shit out of him, he is still building up his own move. So.
Yes. Yeah. He's totally willing to look pathetic for a minute in order to turn the tide of the fight his way.
Yep. And he can absorb all that pain because his childhood was pain. And
moving on.
Yeah. Moving on. So now that Dabi has made his declaration of hatred, Shoto responds, and he's very calmly talking about how, yes, I did have those feelings of feeling like a half-baked puppet of my father's through my time at UA and afterward. And he's like, yeah, I got all that too, but also I processed it. So
because interdependence is not a weakness.
Yes.
But we'll get to that.
Yes. As he responds to Dabi, he's like, I had all that too, but also as I moved forward, I'm glad to see that you weren't actually paying attention to me like you thought you were. Like you were seeing what you wanted to see, but that wasn't actually what was happening. So as Shoto was like doing all this training at the Endeavor arc, and before that, he had been making his own flash fire move. So now we have 2 flash fires, like the title, and he had made it into something more that he could stop his brother. And then right before he attacks, we get this flashback to when he's on the phone with Endeavor talking about how they're actually going to send Shoto against Dabi. So
yeah. Endeavor is like, maybe I should deal with your brother. And Shoto's like, no. And like, I don't know how I feel about this conversation, because points were definitely made. Like, because I was thinking about not the latest Vigilantes chapter, but the one before, I'm pretty sure, where Endeavor shows up to the number 6 fight, but he's functionally useless because, you know, what can fire do against fire, you know? So I mean, Shoto does have a point that Endeavor's quirk wouldn't be any good against Dabi's, and that Shoto's much better suited because of, you know, the ice side of him, and woo, the implications there. Goddamn.
Yep.
Shoto's mom's quirk is going to save the day, hopefully. Holy fuck. Anyway, but like, also, I don't know, like Endeavor's still the dad, you know, and he could have been like, no, we're like, yes, points are made, but also like, that's my child and I have to take responsibility. Like, you're gonna go somewhere else and I'm gonna deal with my fuck up. So I don't really know.
Yeah, that's what it would be in an ideal world. But I think in this moment, Horikoshi's doing something very purposeful in showing that amidst like a war, essentially, and amidst all this personal turmoil, sometimes you do have to set the personal stuff aside and set the stuff that is actually morally more correct aside in the pursuit of actually winning the bigger war. So
yeah, definitely also a lot of commentary on how, like, you know, sins of the father pass on to the son, and, you know, inevitably our children are left to deal with the results of our mistakes.
Yep. And in this case, it's literal, because the 2 sons who bear those sins are now going to have to take care of it. And Shoto is like, I feel like Shoto like knows all of this. And that is why he has made the decision to, yes, he is going to go after his brother.
Yeah, his emotional maturity is like really shining in this moment.
Yeah, but it still sucks because he is, once again, remember, he is still a child. At most, he is 16 at this point. He is baby.
He's a kid.
So
also, at least we got some sort of confirmation that Endeavor didn't just like completely abandon Shoto to Toya. So we got that. He's not a complete piece of shit.
He has one very small, not as big of a jerk as he could have been a Ward. But if he actually was not a jerk, he would have pushed harder to take care of his own mess. But it's Endeavor, so he didn't. Characters. All right.
Now the quirk that you maligned your whole life is the one that you have to rely on. Ha ha ha. Fuck you, bitch.
So many feelings, so many complicated feelings. How is this a manga for children? Excuse me.
Oh, no.
like I know children can, like, obviously they can understand these bigger themes, but I as an adult, like fully grown adult, am having trouble with it. So anyway.
You know what, though? I was thinking about that the other day, not to completely derail us again, but I started watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and I was thinking about the differences in writing style between that show and this one, and just like the accessibility of the language that Horikoshi uses, or like his translation team or whatever, is kind of astounding, because these are some really high level concepts, but he breaks them down into something understandable, like really, really well.
Nice. Yeah. That's true.
Jujutsu Kaisen is a lot more poetic, I think, but also slightly higher level.
Yeah, and when you
definitely
are actually
aimed for a different audience.
Yeah, when you are actually writing for children, even though it is a property that appeals to both children and adults, the the action of taking the time to break it down into more accessible language is something that is very purposeful and something that proves that, yes, Horikoshi is in fact still writing for children, despite our podcast and despite the wider adult like fan community. It is actually still for children, which I kind of like, but also have so many feelings. All right. So after this flashback to the phone call when Shoto is still back with all his 1A friends and they're in the background and I miss them, we continue on and we get this panel that is like the one panel I saw a leak of. I didn't see the dialogue because they very nicely blocked it out. It's this panel where it looks like it is Toya as a younger kid and also Shoto. And Toya is younger, but with white hair, but with no scars. And Shoto he does not have his scar, but he also looks a lot meaner. So it's like he was thinking about all these other choices, all these other realities that could have come to be if they had both been making different choices. And his point is that Dabi did in fact make the choice to become a murderer. So therefore, he is going to stop him because he is a hero. Yep. And it is painful, and there are so many layers to that. And Dabi is shooketh because he thought he had like hit him into oblivion when he punched him into the skyscraper, but no, he's fine. He's totally fine. In fact, he like absorbed it, and then on the last page of the chapter, he aims all of that energy back at Dabi because he is now finished preparing his own Flash Fire Fist move, and his move is called Flash Fire Fist Phosphor. And that is the end of the chapter where Shoto is just like, aim all your rage at us so that nobody else has to get hurt.
Yeah, I thought that line was really interesting.
Yeah, it is. It has the level of like the basic hero surface level stuff, like don't hurt civilians or innocent people, but also aim your rage at me so that like nobody else has to get pulled into our family drama, essentially.
Yeah, so. No one else gets pulled into our family drama, but also like not discounting his rage either.
Yep.
Like Shoto, poor baby Shoto, kind of like how Izuku did for him in the sports festival. Shoto was trying to play therapist during the fight.
He's like, just bring it all at me. I can handle it. Let's go. Let's finish this. And it's sad. And I wanted to ignore my feelings, as you do when you are sad. And so I went online. I was Google, what is phosphor? Because I'm like, what is phosphor? Like, what is it? Is Horikoshi using real science, or is he just like taking a cool word that kind of means the same thing? And it turns out like phosphor is what is in old TVs to make the screen light up. But also phosphor itself is like a form of energy, and they have to like store it underwater because it ignites when it's exposed to air. And so there's the fire. And then it's like, apparently how this one, it's not actually an article. It is like the blurb that Google pulls from the article because I'm curious, but not curious enough to like go full science on it. But from this blurb, it says like the host crystal, like, so like the phosphor itself absorbs the energy and then actually transmits and emits the energy out of its like crystalline form. So you have a little of the one for all crystal lattice thing, but also you have how heat can, like, if you trap heat and then build it up and then release it, like, first of all, you took the heat away from something else to make it not dangerous, and then you turn around and like shoot it at something that you want it to shoot at, and it keeps it cool with the water. And I don't know, I just don't want to feel my feelings because they hurt, and these children.
And but yeah, Horikoshi was right on the money with that one. He was like, crystalline heat contained within like ice. Yeah, that's Shoto.
Yep.
He finally achieved that equilibrium that he's been searching for.
Yep. And as he's about to fight his brother, but also not as he's right about to fight his brother, because I refreshed the app and the next chapter actually does not come out for 21 days. So
Ooh, that is a long time.
We are just going to be left with these feelings for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh goodness. Well, okay. I have another thing to occupy your mind with for 3 weeks
Oh,
because I have a
goody.
question about the previous chapter
Okay.
and I still haven't come to any sort of conclusion. Let me find the panel 1 second. Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
it's on the very first page.
Mhm.
So if you go to the first page, the lower left panel, the little girl with the really long hair, does that look like ragdoll to you?
On 350?
Yeah, 350, page 350. Or wait, no, oh God, never mind. It's not on page 1. It sent me to that page because I was on that page previously. So it's like 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I see.
Okay, page 5. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, yeah, I see her. I mean, it could be Ragdoll, but it's kind of hard to tell because she's so young.
I know, right? And I was looking at that, I was like, that looks like Ragdoll. And then I was like, wasn't Ragdoll the one that lost her power? And
Yes.
so I don't know what to do with that. I was just wondering what you think about that.
Sure, sure. So, I mean, if we are assuming it is Ragdoll and she was at any point in this orphanage for quote unquote spares or quote unquote future nomus, the fact that All for One then came right for her quirk at the camp, it was not an accident. He had his eye on the search quirk since it had revealed itself in Ragdoll. And maybe the only reason it wasn't taken at the orphanage is because All for One was too lazy to like develop it himself, or he wanted to see how it would develop before he took it for himself or put it into a Nomu. I mean, yeah, it could be Ragdoll, but it could also be any other character with long dark hair. So
yeah, I know, but it was just like the really big eyes and like the way they're drawn specifically, it looks very much like Ragdoll. And then like Ragdoll is also one of the ones who came up with the plan. And I'm like, is she with him? Is she not with him? Is all of this in my head? So yeah, I've been occupied with that for the last couple of weeks.
You went down another traitor rabbit hole.
I did. I was like, what if grown up traitor? And I think I'm probably just insane, but
yeah. I don't think you're insane. I think your hamster wheel is just spinning because we know the ending is coming up and we don't want to consider the ending, but also we have to fill in that anticipatory anxiety about what's going to happen at the ending. And it just, everything comes to the top. I mean, also there was a fan theory I saw it on TikTok first, that maybe Chisaki, what's his face? Overhaul.
Yeah.
Maybe Overall was also at this orphanage before he was taken in by the what's it called? The mafia that's Japanese.
The Yakuza guy.
Yeah. So you're not on a planet all unto yourself. You are right there with the rest of the kingdom.
Everyone else is like just brain slowly melting along with me. Dope.
We are all just spinning our wheels, and we are going to be spinning our wheels until mid-May at this point. But maybe hopefully after mid-May, because I saw on Twitter like the reason it's a long break this time is because there's like a special weekend holiday in Japan. I forget what it's
Golden
called.
Week.
Yeah. So maybe like all these like weird breaks that we're getting from like on chapter, off week, on week. Maybe after this 3-week break, we're going to get a chapter every week again, like we had been spoiled into thinking was the norm since last year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder, because I know like other countries definitely have more holidays than US people get. So
we have so few holidays. It is laughable and also very sad and angry making. So
yeah, 10 is like the max, in case anyone in other countries were wondering. We get like 10 maximum holidays. And to be honest, most people get 0. Most people go to work every single day.
Yep. And it sucks. Help us, save us from this world. So we don't just spiral into another existential American spiral. Do we have any thoughts about what might happen in this new chapter? Like,
I have questions because, like, at this point, Toya's body is so badly destroyed that
Mhm.
I'm like, I mean, I'm still kind of hoping for a redemption for him and all the other League of Villains because I think they're all like really, really good examples of people who could be rehabilitated.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if that's going to happen though. I think he might
Yeah.
just burn himself until there's nothing left, and I don't particularly want to watch that happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking he's not going to get to a place where he can like be physically redeemed and be a player in the war on the hero side. At this point, the most I am hoping for is that like at the very end, like maybe when he has like a shot at the killing blow, he like doesn't, and either because he loses his energy from his spite and his vengeance and his anger, and in that moment he like chooses to give mercy to his brother, and maybe he passes, or maybe he just goes into a vegetative state that is left wider open for after the war. But yeah, I feel like he is going to throw everything he has into this fight, and then whatever happens at the end, he will not be a player going forward.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. And that is really
Yeah.
sad.
Poor Toya.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, because we've spent so much time on this chapter, I'm wondering if next chapter and the next few chapters we're going to actually finish this fight before we go to the other sites, or if Horikoshi is going to just give us these feelings and then just say, haha, psych, we're going somewhere else now, which
Oh God,
how
yeah, it's
dare.
really hard to predict. He does really love spending time on the Todorokis.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get the full arc, but yeah, I honestly, I'm in the same boat as you. I can't predict.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. We're just going to be sad when it happens, and we're going to be sad until it happens. And
Yep. Oh man. So many feelings.
Yep. So many feelings, but I mean, this was a pretty straightforward chapter, so I don't really have much else to say other than I am sad.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at. It's just lots and lots of sad feelings. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us. Y'all will hear us not soon, but sometime within the next several weeks. But in the meantime, yes, soonish. But in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and catch the fuck up. Bye, y'all.
Bye.